If you do not overcome your tendency to give up so easily, your life will lead to nothing. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by men who kept fighting when there seemed to be no hope at all. Your success in life is directly correlated to the amount of stress you can deal with. And this is true. When you look at cars or you look at jets or any of these things, how fast they can go is directly correlated to how much air is going to be pushing against them. The more successful you become, the more the opposite force is going to push against you. And most people get to a certain level and go, okay, that opposite force is too much. I am a much larger proponent of larger risks and larger rewards. If you want to learn about self-help, if you want to understand yourself and see what kind of man you really are and learn how to fight through adversity and learn how to control your mind and learn how to struggle, then you can go to the boxing gym and you can get your ass kicked. You need to get in the gym, walk in there and say, I'm going to fight the best fighter here every single day and not quit until you can eventually beat him. But most people are not man enough for that. And they'll sit there and try and talk to me about mindset. I learned my mindset in battle. My mindset is 87 professional fights. I don't need to read a self-help book. I don't need to read about motivation or confidence. And reality is always going to be a better teacher than a book because you're not learning when you read books. You're regurgitating. You may be reading, but I don't believe you're truly learning. My coach used to say, if it doesn't hurt, you didn't learn. And it's the same with entire life. You see people make the same mistake over and over again until it eventually goes really wrong. Only then they'll change. So I learned how to become self-disciplined and become self-motivated and work hard. And I learned how to face adversity and find strength within myself I didn't know I had because people were trying to kill me inside of a cage. And you cannot replicate that by reading pages of a book.
Discipline is the key to success. If you cannot force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how are you ever going to put yourself through the suffering required for greatness?
I mean, if you have the mentality that you're born to suffer, I think you'll be pretty good at things. If you're born with the mentality that nobody should suffer, you're always going to be shit at things. I understand I was born to suffer. A lot of people have said to me, you're under stress. Like, how do you deal with it? How do you smile? This is nothing. I was built to suffer. I wake up every day and go, what's on the menu? I'm so used to it. I'm kind of excited by it.
It's difficult to think of a scenario where being brave would be a negative mindset for you to be able to tap into. Because bravery affords new options you haven't previously considered. If you're a coward, you don't have certain options on the chessboard. But if you are brave, you can analyze these moves. So you have a whole bunch of moves that most people don't have. Most people do not have the bravery to consider alternate paths. So bravery is an extremely important skill to hone. Because you should often sit and think, what would be the bravest decision I could make in this scenario? And consider it. I'm not saying do it, but you should get in the mental model of considering it. Because quite often when you're a coward, brave decisions don't even cross your mind. So you need to train your mind to consider bravery because bravery is something that is going to universally apply throughout your life.
A lot of people say, I have confidence issues. And I say, if I was you, I would have confidence issues. We have to be absolutely and utterly realistic because the world is brutal and it's harsh. If you're not proud of yourself, you probably don't deserve to be proud of yourself. So you're not going to feel happy. And you just talked about confidence. Confidence comes from competence. The reason I'm confident is because I'm good at everything. The things I'm not good at, I'm not confident in, of course. And I know what they are. I don't do them very often. I either hire or I just don't want to do it. I do what I'm good at. So yeah, I'm absolutely and utterly confident because I'm absolutely and utterly competent. And that takes practice and discipline and motivation. And you need to fail a few times. You need to get up. That's all it comes down to. And when people say, I have confidence issues, usually I can look them up and down and say, yeah, if I was you, I would completely and utterly struggle with confidence issues. So of course you have confidence issues when you can be annihilated in real time by the competitor. If I'm unhappy with something and I'm uncomfortable with something, I fix it. That's endless motivation, which I don't truly believe in as a concept, but that's endless fuel for the fire. I would be able to take all of that discomfort and turn it into endless energy to get the problem fixed. Yeah. These people seem to sit and say, I'm really unhappy with X, but then stay doing X. So I don't believe they're truly actually unhappy. What you'll notice if you live life long enough is that somebody will sit and say to you, I'm unhappy being a loser. I just sit at home and play video games 7 days a week. And maybe 3 days of the week, they're unhappy doing that. But 4 days of the week doesn't really bother them. Because if it bothered them 7 days a week, guess what?
They would fix it.
Yeah. So I have very little sympathy for people. And that's not because I'm not a nice person, but it's because I've been so hard on myself and I've been through so much pain and trauma myself. Some of it self-inflicted, some of it given to me by God to make me a better person. Why would I feel pity for somebody who took the easy route when I took the hardest possible route? I also think that once you understand all of the bad things and good things that come into your life are a perfect plan from God himself, you're going to be a lot less affected by the bad things.
in the end, you're going to be happy it happened. I often ask people, is there anything bad that's happened to you in the past at the time you were distraught about that you now wish didn't even happen? And truthfully, you're like, no, I'm kind of glad it all happened because of, right? If you know in a year from now, you'll be glad it happened. Why be upset about it happening now? You have to be cerebral enough about things. I think the unhappiest people in the world don't have any struggle at all. Perhaps the people who are born with a trust fund and unlimited money and have no struggles in their life, and they have no objectives to try and conquer, are truly the miserable ones. Perhaps the human mind and soul and spirit is built to struggle. Perhaps we're built to suffer. I think that getting rich when you're young as a man is probably one of the worst things that can happen. You want to spend all your 20s broke, grinding, training, being funny, being interesting. That's what you need to do. That's how I grew up. If I had money at 18, 19, I would have skipped so many experiences and so many hard lessons. I'd be a fraction of the man I am today. That's the worst thing that can happen to a young man. He's skipping all the struggle, all the pain and suffering he's going to attempt to skip with money. He's going to end up suffering more in the end. Would you play a video game if it was easy? If you could never die? I mean, cheats get boring pretty quick. That's the whole point of it. You're supposed to struggle with it. You're supposed to suffer with it. So I think a lot of people confuse these things and they sit and say, this is merely making me unhappy. Or if I woke up and everything was just perfect, that'd be great for a few weeks. But if you just wake up and nothing ever goes wrong, I think that'd be quite depressing in its own way. I think when you accept that suffering is part of life, you get good at suffering and then you get good at things. If you're going to go through the world trying to make the world suffer less, you're going to suffer more than anything. How successful you are in life is directly correlated to your stress tolerance. Forget IQ. Forget most nearly anything. If you're the guy who can deal with more stress than anyone else, you're going to end up in a position where you're dealing with more stress than anyone else. And those positions, one way or another, pay. Because that's the only way you can even separate yourself from the labor market in general. You're going to put yourself in a very stressful place. Because as a man, you can be anything you decide you want to be. That's the beauty of being a male. You can build your character completely from the ground up, just like a video game. I was not born a world champion kickboxer. I was not born this intelligent or intellectual. I was not born this rich. I was not born this confident. I was not born none of these things. I became these things myself. So I deserve all the spoils of war. And anybody who decides they don't want to work hard enough to become those things, then they deserve to sit and accept they're my inferior. When I didn't have enough money to buy whatever I wanted, I couldn't fall asleep at night because I understood there are people out there that did, and I didn't see them as better than me. And it bothered me to the point where I could not sleep. I have had a very painful life. I still think to a degree I do. But I can't imagine living any other way. I can't imagine living in this idea, this utopian, hedonism. Degenerate. I think the only thing you can do that's not degenerate is usually be fighting a battle or solving a problem.
Happiness is in struggle. You need goals and resistance and something to fight against to live well. If you only have joy all of the time and no pain, you are not going to be happy. You don't need fun. Life's not about fun as a man. Life is about doing the right thing because it must be done. You do not need fun until you've already reached the highest possible echelon. So this whole idea that you need fun in your life, you don't. What you need is purpose. You need things to do which are going to benefit you and the others around you. And you need performance metrics. You don't need to be waking up thinking about fun. You're not physically strong. You're not financially wealthy. You have bigger concerns. For a man, your contentment will come from your purpose. And it will come from your competence. And it will come from succeeding objectives. It will never come from the easily accessible hedonism. You're unhappy because you're trying to have fun instead of trying to become important. Difficult lives are fulfilling because we used to have to hunt and fish and go through difficulty to survive. You must earn happiness. You must climb a mountain. You must struggle yourself to happiness. That's extremely important. There must be physical, mental, social, some kind of spiritual struggle. The only other alternative to that to feel good is hedonism. And that's not going to satisfy you for very long. And it's also going to destroy your life. Money's not going to change who you are. It's going to amplify who you are. If you're a good person, it'll make you a very good person. If you're a weak person, it'll make you very weak and cowardly and scared. If you're a strong person, it'll make you very brave. So you actually kind of have to hope that you don't get rich too early before you've struggled enough, because men are built on the back of struggle. No man who has not struggled is a good man or good at being a man. But don't worry, I think God has a plan for you. You should be trying your absolute best to get rich all of the time. And all of those lessons that will come with all the suffering and the difficulty will be amplified by the time you're a multimillionaire and you become the best version of yourself. That's how you become a top G. Guys, money is easy. The life you want is easy. All you have to do is fall in love with the work. Fall in love with being good at doing your work, getting it done, never missing a day. Because the easiest way to make sure you never miss a lucky day is to try every single day. And you're never going to know if you have a lucky day or not unless you try every single day. And you're going to realize it wasn't actually that difficult. All it took was consistency, never being lazy, and doing everything I'm supposed to do properly. You're going to get exactly what you deserve in life. From women, financially, luck. You get the luck you deserve.
If you try your very best in all things, and you pray, and you're really thankful to God, and you say thank you all the time, you start to become very lucky. You get the luck you deserve when you try. Don't let losers and brokies sit and say to you, oh, all our graves are the same, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. You were not born to suffer and die without being remembered or leaving a mark on this planet. All of the explorers who risked their lives on the 7 seas did it to say, look what I did. The cathedrals, all these things that were built by men saying, look what we have done. We have done something other people cannot do. And respect often lies on the other side of fear. If there's a decision that everybody's afraid to do, but you do it, that is what's going to get you respected by your peers. You need to compare yourself always and constantly to somebody who is outperforming you. This is what they teach inside of common pop psychology classes. Yeah, and take the small success and be happy with it. And no, that's not what you should do. The fact you can have a little tiny success and quit shows that there's something wrong with your mentality and your firmware in the first place. I don't consider myself successful. All I do is work. I work 7 days a week. And you see a lot of people do it, right? They'll say, oh yeah, I had a really great week and I made some money and now I'm in Costa Rica. You're never going to win that way. The kind of people who become truly rich are the people who work every day no matter what, which is why all of the people who are truly rich are workaholics, because it's the only way to really get there. The point I'm making is you need to fall in love with being happy with yourself for how hard you've dedicated yourself to a task. You guys are truly running out of time. It's very important that you get your act together quickly. Don't be talking about headaches. Don't be arguing with women. You have things to do.
99% of the time people message my phone, they're asking for something. And I don't think people realize how annoying that is. And then you're the bad guy if you don't give it to them. If you give it to them once and not a second time, you're bad. And it's not even just money. We can talk about anything. We talk about time. You know, it's amazing. Maybe about 45 people a day. Imagine this, 45 people every single day message. Have you got a quick 10 minutes? If I had a quick 10 minutes for 45 people a day, I wouldn't have, my day's over. I don't have a quick 10 minutes. No, I cannot take a quick 5-minute phone call. No, we cannot have a quick meeting. And when you say no, they're like, it's only 5 minutes. They're so offended. I don't think people even realize that they're asking for things. They'll call me twice. I won't answer. Call me when you can. To me, that's a request. Sorry. Calls give me anxiety. I don't like phone calls. You message me and I'll read it and I'll decide if I want to reply on my time frame. And if it's really that important, you can voice note me and I'll listen if I decide, and I'll put it on 2x speed and it better be less than 30 seconds. You don't get to just call me and decide when I have to pick up my phone. I don't work for you. I don't answer calls ever. I tell all my women, if you call me, it's an emergency. If you call me, someone's breaking in the house. If I ever answer the phone to you and it was, oh, hey, how are you? The fuck? I'm fucking fine. Why are you calling me? Just message me. Everyone's trying to chip away at me, you know, little by little. Everyone wants 5 minutes with me here, 5 minutes with me there. And if I wasn't in this position, I would still want to be in this position because you want to be important. And when you're important, this is what happens. But when a woman is like, why are you so mad? I just love you. I just want to see you. To her, it's like, I love this man. I just want to see him. What's his problem? And to me, it's like, stop demanding my attention and time. I don't have it. And then she's like, oh, but you don't have attention and time for me, but you have attention and time for, and then the list. It's like, yeah, correct. Because I have attention and time for all those things, because that made me into the man who you want attention and time from. And you know, everyone says to me, you need to calm down, you need to chill out, you have enough money or whatever, or you need to take care of yourself, you need to relax. But the people who can do those things don't ever.
If you don't believe you're the man, you're already finished. Someone out there woke up today ready to take everything you ever wanted. And while you hesitate, he executes. This world doesn't wait for maybe. It bows to certainty. You want the truth? You don't believe in yourself because you've never actually been tested. You've never been forced to stand alone with your back against the wall and your future hanging in the balance. You've been sheltered. You've been pacified. You've been told to be soft, humble, gentle. And look where that got you. Look at your life. Be honest. You walk through this world hoping it doesn't hurt you, begging for comfort, chasing approval. You rest the way others expect. You speak like you're scared to offend. You shrink yourself because someone told you confidence was arrogance, and now you're surprised when life doesn't reward you. The world isn't punishing you. It's just showing you who you really are. Every man who's ever done anything extraordinary had one thing in common. They believed in themselves before the world did. Not when the money came, not when the recognition came. Before it all, when there was no applause, when there were no guarantees, when everyone doubted them, they stood tall, alone, convinced of one thing: I am the man, I will find a way or make one. That's the level of belief it takes
to build an empire. And don't get it twisted. Self-belief isn't delusion. It's not pretending you're great. It's deciding that you will become great no matter what stands in the way. The moment you start acting like a man who's destined to win, everything around you begins to shift. People feel it. Rooms change when you walk in. Opportunities start appearing. But none of that happens until you make that internal shift. You think confidence comes from achievement? Wrong. Achievement comes from confidence. You build the life you want when you stop seeking validation and start moving like your name belongs in rooms you never even entered. The world doesn't reward the capable, it rewards the certain. You don't need to be the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. You just need to believe so deeply in your mission that nothing and no one can convince you otherwise. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you stop flinching. That's when you stop begging for opportunities and start creating them. You think people respect talent? No. They respect certainty, because certainty is rare. Certainty is power. And the only way to develop it is to stop doubting and start deciding. People ask me all the time, Tate, how do I build confidence? And I tell them the truth they don't want to hear. You build confidence by doing hard shit. You build it by waking up when you don't want to. You build it by showing up when you're tired, broken, alone, and still giving your all. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's forged in the fire of consistent action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you stack a brick of belief. Every time you push when it's easier to quit, you send a message to your mind that you're a man who follows through. And over time, those bricks become a fortress. That's how you become unshakable. That's how you silence the doubt. You earn it. But here's the part no one tells you. You're allowed to believe in yourself, even when you're not there yet. You're allowed to walk like a king before the crown ever touches your head, because belief precedes reality. Every empire starts in the mind of a man who refuses to think small. First thing you have to believe is you're the fucking man. You can achieve anything. And if you're not willing to say that to yourself, if you're too scared to believe it, then who the hell will? Your confidence has to come from the vision you see in your head, not the situation you're stuck in right now. You build from the future backwards. You decide who you're going to be, and then you live every damn day like that man already exists. You're not weak because you've failed. You're weak because you stopped believing. You let one setback, one betrayal, one bad week convince you that maybe you're not good enough. And that doubt infected everything, your work, your discipline, your presence. It made you passive. It made you soft. It made you forget who you are. And the worst part, you accepted it. You sat in silence and made peace with being average. Let me be clear. You can't be confident and passive at the same time. One has to die. Either you kill the doubt or the doubt kills the man you were meant to become. There is no middle ground. And I know what you're thinking. But what if I fail? What if I try and I still lose? Good. Let the fear sharpen you. Let the pressure mold you. The point isn't to be fearless. It's to be brave in spite of it. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's a refusal to be ruled by it. You get knocked down, fine. You get back up with your chest out and your eyes forward because you believe not in luck, not in other people, in yourself. That's the real win. That's the mindset that makes kings out of nobodies. You want to change your life? Then change the way you see yourself. You're not a victim. You're not broken. You're not lost. You are powerful beyond belief, but only if you choose to be. Only if you stop whispering and start speaking with conviction. Only if you stop playing small and start owning your place in this world. Stop looking around for examples. Be the example. Be the standard. Walk, talk, act like the man you know you're capable of becoming. And keep doing it until it's undeniable. Because at the end of the day, confidence is not optional. It's your duty. It's the weapon you need to fight every battle this world throws at you. And if you don't build it, someone else will come along more certain, more committed, and take what was meant to be yours. It's not about arrogance. It's not about ego. It's about survival. It's about becoming so sure of who you are that nothing, not hate, not failure, not fear can shake your foundation. Right? Because I remember being broke, not just broke financially, broke mentally. I wasn't walking around with my chest out. I wasn't commanding attention. I was invisible, not because the world couldn't see me, but because I couldn't see myself. I didn't believe I mattered. And let me tell you something. That's the most dangerous place a man can be. Not rock bottom, not failure, but when he starts believing he was never meant to win in the first place. It wasn't a single moment that changed me. It wasn't a Hollywood scene with fireworks or a sudden flood of motivation. It was a decision. Quiet, violent, permanent. I looked at my reflection one day and I realized this version of me dies today because the man I wanted to become, he wasn't coming to save me. He wasn't some distant version waiting at the end of success. He was inside me, buried under excuses, laziness, and fear, and I had to dig him out with my bare hands.
That's where confidence is born. Not in comfort, not in hype, but in the trenches, in the mornings you don't want to wake up, in the workouts where your lungs burn, in the hours of silence where no one sees the work but you do it anyway. People love to say, believe in yourself. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But belief isn't some fluffy mantra. It's war. It's you versus every insecurity that's ever tried to silence you. It's standing firm when the results don't show up. It's telling the world, I don't care if you see it yet. I know who I am, because at one point I was the only person on the planet who believed I'd become something. No claps, no praise, no proof, just a fire in my gut that said, I am not staying here. That's what people don't understand. Confidence isn't loud, it's silent conviction. It's the unshakable decision that mediocrity is no longer an option. I remember when I first started making money, not much, just enough to breathe differently, just enough to walk with purpose. And do you know what I realized? The confidence came before the cash. The internal shift came before the external reward. I had already started acting like a millionaire when my bank balance was still starving. Because I wasn't acting, I was aligning. The world doesn't reward the capable. It rewards the certain. I was certain. Not because I had all the answers, but because I was finally asking the right questions. Who do I want to be? What am I willing to sacrifice? How hard am I willing to go to make it real? Most of you are stuck because you're waiting for permission. You're waiting for some magical moment where the stars align and your doubts disappear. That moment will never come. No one is going to walk into your life and crown you king. No one is going to hand you confidence on a silver platter. You either build it or you suffer. You either declare your value or the world assumes you have none. And the thing is, once you taste even a small drop of belief, real belief, it's addictive. Because suddenly you realize you've been living on autopilot. You've been watching your own life like it's a movie you're not even starring in. And for the first time, you grab the wheel and say, I drive from now on. People talk about success like it's this distant mountain you climb once and you're done, but it's not. It's the decision you make every day. You wake up and choose to be a winner, even if you don't feel like one yet. You walk into every room like your name belongs in it. You shake every hand like you're going to be remembered. That's not arrogance, that's certainty forged in pain, repetition, and resilience. Confident isn't look at me, it's I know who I am, whether you see it or not. And let's get one thing straight. Your past doesn't disqualify you. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care if you failed, been humiliated, lied to, cheated on, counted out. That's your power. That's your edge. The scars on your soul are not weakness. They're the proof that you've survived hell. So now when life throws more chaos your way, you smile and say, I've been here before. I didn't fold then, and I'm not folding now. That's self-belief, not the kind you post about, the kind you bleed for. So if you're sitting there right now wondering if you've got what it takes, let me make it simple. You do. But it won't matter until you decide. You have to stop waiting for confidence and start walking like it's already yours. You have to speak with purpose even when your voice shakes. You have to believe you're the man even when the world still sees a boy. And eventually, the world catches up. But that's the first thing you have to believe is you're the fucking man. You can achieve anything. That belief? It's not arrogance, it's survival. It's power. It's the root of every transformation you'll ever experience. And if you don't own that, if you keep playing small, hiding in your insecurities, pretending you're not ready, someone else will take the life that was meant for you. Confidence is the key that unlocks every door, not because it makes you perfect, but because it makes you unstoppable. Look around you. Every second that passes is gone forever. People waste years doubting themselves, waiting for signs, waiting for motivation, while their future gets robbed by their own hesitation. That clock on the wall isn't ticking politely, it's mocking you. Every minute you waste not believing in yourself is a minute someone else is using to become stronger, richer, sharper. That's the brutal truth. Confidence isn't just a mindset, it's a weapon. And if you don't arm yourself with it, life will eat you alive. The world belongs to those who decide they deserve it before they're handed anything. You're either building belief or building excuses. Fear isn't what holds you back. The real fear should be this, that one day you'll look in the mirror and realize you lived your entire life as a watered-down version of yourself. That all the things you could have been, could have done, could have built, died with you. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you didn't believe you were. That fear should haunt you, because the truth is, nobody's coming to tell you it's time. Confidence is a decision you either make now or regret forever. Every person who ever achieved greatness didn't wait to feel ready. They moved with conviction when everything was uncertain. People don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they keep questioning whether they have it. Do you understand how destructive that is? You cripple your own future by assuming it's not yours to take. But here's the truth. Belief is the cheat code. Belief turns average men into legends. Belief transforms silent effort into explosive results. You've got people walking through life sleepwalking, doubting their power, while the few who dare to walk with certainty are snatching every opportunity right out from under them. And what's worse, they're not better than you. They're not smarter. They just decided they were worthy while you're still waiting for someone to confirm it. You want motivation? Here it is. One day, you're going to die. And when that moment comes, there won't be a second chance to go back and act like you believe in yourself. You will either go out knowing you gave everything to become the man you were meant to be, or you'll go out with regret rotting your soul. That's the final scoreboard. That's the game.